Khalaf Ahmad Al Habtoor, the chairman and the founder of the Al Habtoor group of companies. We have lots and lots to talk about, and this here is the 14th edition of the Emirates Festival of Literature, so I'm absolutely delighted that you're all here. Yes, you run a big empire at the moment. You've written a few books that we have as part of the festival, of course, and that's really exciting too. But if I could maybe get started here, and if we were to look back on your life a little bit, it really tells the story of the UAE. Now, in your autobiography, you actually say that you were born in the right place at the right time, but also on page 17, you say that obsessing about the glorious past is somewhat of an Arab trait. So I'm not going to ask you to obsess about the glorious past, because I know how forward-looking you have always been and still are. But maybe for the few people in the room that mightn't know, can you give us the snapshot of, what were those formative years and how important they were to get you to where you are?
Thank you very much, and it is a pleasure to be here and in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And Mansour, thank you. Thank you. Well, it is very difficult to explain. I mean, if I explain from beginning, it will take me years and years.
I did take that into consideration.
It will be very difficult. But those days I mentioned, when we were little boys and with our parents, we were living great life. Even because we are not responsible, we have no responsibility, and what we eat, we share our food and our dates with our camels and the animals, and this is really, I call it, is a base of success, base to start, not to say, a lot of people said, Khalaf, why did you say you stay with your mother and father and the brother and sister and one khema, which is barasti, Of course I didn't stay, I born on that place, I live in that place, and I cannot say I was in Buckingham Palace. I was in that place, and that place really gave me the energy and the will, to start working and to meet the people and to enjoy the mixing with successful people. But that time we didn't know what's success. Success with the money, success riding camels, success fishing, fishermen, etc. But it was great enjoyment, Thank you very much, yes.
And indeed, when I was reading your autobiography, also one thing that you had in there was that when you were young too, you had an ambition to own a shop. Now you built the empire, so to speak. And again, we look back on the early 70s here in Dubai and the start of Al Habtoor Engineering and all of that. But what are some of the big lessons that you've learned along the way in terms of building business?
I think determination is very important. Discipline is the most important in life. Discipline is success. Anyone, if no discipline, I don't think, when I mean discipline is timing. Time of everything. I believe in something called, discipline. I will translate it in different way. I will call it God Constitution. What is God Constitution? God Constitution, there is a time over everything. There is a sunset, sunrise. There is a time to sleep. There is a time to work. If I will stay whole night partying, I didn't think I can produce in the morning. I have to go early morning to work. I have to have my breakfast at a certain time. I know a lot of people said it is a routine, it is very bad, etc. No, it's not bad. It is discipline will make you, there is time to eat. There is time to work hard. There is time also to play. Yeah. When I mean play, I meant not partying, I meant play sport like tennis, walking, jogging, etc., swimming. But also there's a time to sit with the family, with your family, children. Even you have argument with your wife, which is normal, but at least you we have argument every day, by the way.
And you resolve it every day.
I threatened to divorce her.
And I'm sure she manages this very, very well, as she has, I'm sure, over the years and been that great support to you. Talk to me just a little bit about family, too, because it's been very, very precious to you. And it, reflects on all of what you write about as well. And I see some of your great family is here. And it's all those wonderful pictures. There's great company there for you as well.
True. In my life, of course, definitely, everybody, I think, most of the people like their family, but I have priorities in life. Priority number one is work, more than family. Family come priority number two to me. I love them. I love my family, all of them, from adults to little guys. I love them. But, always they said, how do you prefer? You said you have your family in second and your work number one. Of course. I mean, if you don't go and work hard and go and feed them and bring them money, they don't want you. They want to get rid of you. This is the facts. This is the truth. I mean, they don't want you. I mean, why they want you? If you are not producing for them.
Yeah.
And if you don't produce, no one will like you. Not the wife or daughter or son.
I know, and it maybe sounds a little harsh when you say it first, but I think we all understand the great meaning because, you work also, I think, to show them the discipline, the care, and the fact that, together you're building something and also for them. So that concept of work for you, I think, is very much, it's what you're about. It's the core of what you do. And around that, it builds everything, I think, that you do. It reflects who you are. Is that right?
Definitely. You work and they love you more if you pay them more. This is facts. There's no diplomacy on this.
But again, I think it is.
If your daughter, my daughter, I don't pay her, she is less, she'll love me less. But when I pay her more, she come at 5 o'clock waiting for me.
Well, see there, so it works. It works. It's a win-win for everybody, and I think that's what it has to be.
Right, Metha? My granddaughter.
There you go. So there's great encouragement there. There's method in your madness, if we want to put it like that. Also, when you talk about work, I've read many times that retirement is not necessarily something that you see as an end goal. That unfortunately, or fortunately for many, it can be. And again, I love your attitude in terms of your holidays. So I suppose we were on the same page on that just as well, because we'd be having a fight up here if we weren't. But I think, is it that concept of you find something that you love, that you want to do, that you believe in, and therefore, in many ways, it's that great enjoyment. So even when you are having a little downtime, work still continues.
Definitely. Work to me is fueling, energy, power, everything, work. Without work, I feel there's something missing, something I cannot sleep, I cannot walk, I cannot this. I don't believe in that, Even I said I'm under pressure sometimes, work. I run away for a few days. But 24 hours I'm on the telephone with my work. Otherwise, without work, I have to create work. Even now, thanks God, all our companies under control, running, etc. But I cannot live with that routine, I have to create another project to make me busy. To make me busy and to make me, wake up even at night. Wake up and I'm thinking what I'm going to do. I have note to write, every night what I'm going to do. I wake up very early morning. That's my life. I love it.
Good.
I love it. I enjoy it.
We're on the same page here because I'm loving this. I don't have to get into the work-life balance conversations because you found it.
Yeah, but you are copying me now.
Oh, that's it. I know. I'll be owing him one for this, at the end of it all. But talk to me. Let's look at Dubai, because I always say that, when I'm reading your story, I'm almost reading the story of Dubai unfold. And when you look at Dubai, recently this year it was voted the world's, best tourism destination. You've always been a main player when it comes to hospitality and real estate, but when it comes to hospitality particularly, Dubai being a great tourism destination, being a great place to live, it has Al Habtoor written all over it, so well done in that sense.
Well,
but why did you always see the potential that was there?
Let me explain you something. I born and raised in this country, in this city, and my father is a person who loves his camels, he loves riding, and he trained me how to ride camels, and we go together. And of course, I thought, to put Al Habtoor name everywhere where I can, give something not only to me or myself or my family, also to give to the others, to help, to assist. This is why, Al Habtoor name only came, I mean, it's an old family, but it came only after 70, 71, 72. People become know Al Habtoor. Before that, they know that Al Habtoor, Ahmad bin Muhammad Al Habtoor, he loved camels and he enjoyed his camels and he enjoyed his life. He doesn't have money. And all of us, we don't have money that time. But I thought after that, after success, I said, I have to fix the name of Al Habtoor in every place, wherever I am operating. And this is working.
And indeed, not just in Dubai, around the world, in so many places as well.
Yes. And always I raise our UAE flags everywhere I go. And the Al Habtoor flag.
And long may it continue indeed. Let's talk about, go wider than Dubai here. And, when we look around the Middle East, from an outsider view, some people look in here and see the region as a bit of a hotbed of instability. How do you think, if there was, lasting peace in this region, would it be the greatest power on earth? Could it be?
I think this country is blessed. This country blessed, United Arab Emirates and Dubai, blessed because of our father, grandfather, together they were working with the rulers and hand by hand to improve, the life of the people, to work together, and they were transparent to each other. This is, I think, the success, and I think, thanks God, it is safe country, very much. People love to come. We have a lot of people from all over the world. The first time of this time, I see Mexican and American coming here to invest and to come for holiday. Before that, I never see the American or Mexican in this country. I saw them by my own eyes in my hotels. I said, what? Normally the American, they come only as a professional, as a lawyer or a doctor or etc., which they are, or the ambassador or the consul general, etc. But now you see them as an investor, as a people who want to stay here and retire and die even here. This is what all the European and the American and the Mexican and everyone else. A lot of Arabs moving here, Asian moving here. Not moving because they love us. They love because they feel peace in the United Arab Emirates. Yes. They feel peace. And also, they have the job, they have to work, and they're making money from the country, and, that's good.
So it's a good place here. Looking at the world, and I know this could take us a week to, but there are big problems in the world when we look around today, and it's not just political. There's a lot of, geopolitical issues out there. There's a lot of social issues. There's the bigger issue on, climate change and all of that. Where do you see the big global problems that really need to be addressed, and perhaps that irritate you maybe a little bit when you look at this and think, here we are in 2022 and we're still doing what we did, or maybe getting it wrong again?
The most important, I think, the West, like United States of America, Europe, Britain, etc., they have to be transparent to each other. The problem is there is no transparency at all, Everyone talks and they do something else, They promise you something and no delivery, which is really, people starting, they have no faith and trust in the West. As the Americans say, talk cheap. This is what's happening now. They talk, but no delivery. We are, I think, in the United Arab Emirates and GCC, I think we are in a better position. We are in a better position of putting our hand together, cooperating, and transparency hopefully is going on and it is coming, which is fantastic, and the cooperation between the GCC. This is success. This is great thing, happening in the Arab world. Starting Egypt is great country, is improvement, and hopefully soon Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, also they will come into the big basket together with us for improvement and free themselves from the occupation.
Because ultimately, I think everybody, in no matter what country they're in, people want a good life for themselves. They want a good life for their family, and that's more important for so many people than politics, of course. Now we look at the focus on the Sustainable Development Goals. We look at COP27 and COP28 coming to the region here. And part of the big SDGs is eradication of poverty around the world. I know this is something that's very close to your heart. And again, we look at the time frame. People talk about eradicating poverty in 2030. It's 2022 now. The time frame is short. What do they need to do? Because I know this is something that really frustrates you.
The problem is we heard a lot. I work with the President Carter a lot. I work with him in assisting and bringing people together, especially the Israeli and the Palestinian. And we try to assist, and it works really. I sent delegation from United States, from Jacksonville, Illinois, from the university team. I pay for it with some professor to visit Palestine and to see the Palestinian schools and universities, and to visit also the Israelis school and university. And all of them, they want to work together, they want to live together, etc. I mean, the people, they want to live as one country. But the problem, both politicians between these, I'm focusing in these two places, which is Israel and Palestine. They don't want to get together, unfortunately. But the new generation, they want to work together, they want to be together, they want to work together. And they have that research and report.
What do you think the world can do, and what do you think maybe private corporations can do? Because governments talk about eradicating poverty, but they haven't done perhaps a great job on it so far. So is it time that private business steps up and does something about this to actually help alleviate poverty in so many countries in the world?
I was attending a conference, decision maker in the United States, on Reagan conference room. And they were the most important people from the United States of America attending there. And after my speech, I said to them, let us find a way for poverty alleviation. And I'm ready that time, to start to put $25 million, and I need somebody, to announce this officially among the rich people from everywhere. Anyway, I arrived here, I wrote letters, emails to everybody who was in the Arab world, United States, Britain. To be honest with you, there were no response. Nobody went. They talk about charity, they talk about they want to help, but nobody. Of course, we have the Red Crescent in United Arab Emirates helping all over the world. I work with them in a lot of sector, a lot of countries, and they are delivering. But they have a limit. And this time also, I announced it again. I said, I'm ready to put some money. I wrote a letter to the Secretary of United States, if he can give us the roadmap, let us call it, and where to communicate with whom. I'm ready to work on this. And this encouragement came also, to be honest with you, a lot from President Carter. He and I, we put hands together, we worked together, and he was a great man to assist, this man, I cannot forget him in my life.
And indeed, after, of course, he left the presidency, the great work that he continued to do.
Yes.
Now, philanthropy is, so important again to you, and you work with a lot of charities, here in the region. Do you believe it's the responsibility of, family companies that do well, it's the responsibility of people who make a lot of money that they give back? Do you see this as a responsibility?
I believe in something. When God gives you everything, God will not give you if you are sitting at home. You have to work hard and deliver, and then you'll find. If God gives you everything, also, what have you gave people? What did you participate? What you did to the people? You should really participate. We cannot hold every government in the world why you are not helping. Why? Also, we are responsible. We are responsible as individuals, as a business houses, as a company, we are responsible to put our hand with our government and to help. We cannot depend and put pressure on the government. Any government, whether the United States or Britain or the Arab world, we have also to put, and not only to talk, no, we have to show the money. Yes.
And do you think actually that the more of the private sector that gets involved, and particularly in areas that it can get involved to help alleviate poverty, do you think that then governments can actually come on board? Because sometimes, I don't know if you'd agree, maybe government thinking can be a little short term. They can promise a lot because they need to get into office and they need to, fulfill those promises at the time, but there has to be a bit more long-term thinking for the world.
Well, I can talk about our government here, which they are really helping a lot from all over the world. I mean, through the Red Crescent, through the other charity organization, and helping. They don't differentiate whether your culture or color or religion. They help everybody everywhere in the world, which is really, this is, they call it a fuel, to give us a fuel to help and to assist. And we put our hand together. I mean, myself, I put a lot of money with the Red Crescent, long time, and but now I'm doing it myself. Yeah.
Now, you talk a lot about also education being, a great pathway, but also in your book, I thought it was very nice that you actually said that your earlier school days were utterly miserable.
I didn't hear you.
but clearly along the way that you changed that. No, and you talked then when you continued in school how things changed. But the early days you weren't fond of them too well, and you have great stories about a few diversions, let's say, on your way to school when you were a young boy. But you got back, obviously, because your love of knowledge, I think, is what kept you going, so to speak. But are you encouraged by, and now, of course, you own some schools, so you must be encouraged by this, but has the educational system, changed? And is it what can really take people out of poverty? And do you think the education system is really, education is, what will change the world for people?
But not a lot of people know that I ran away from school.
All they have to do is read your book. That's it. I'm not giving away family secrets.
I have 3 doctorate, but from nothing. Yeah, well, definitely. I'll tell you the truth. Of course, I regret it, but I work very hard in recovering, and this. I don't want to give a lot of nonsense, Definitely, when I was a little boy, I hate school. My father was pushing me. My elder brother was hammering me to go to school. Everybody pushing me, but I refused. And I don't want to give you cloudy, foolish lies, But I work hard. I studied myself. I read. I mean, maybe sometimes from a lot of movie and American series, I learn a lot, which is true. Sometimes, you see these movies and series, you learn more than anything else. It doesn't mean that I am discouraging people to study. I mean, to go to school or university, this is the foundation, the most important.
And again, the opportunities I think that people have now, they're so different than back in the early days.
True.
So I think everything is really, it's there to help young people, and I think they really should take advantage of it. Do you think so?
Definitely. Now, I mean, everywhere in the world, I mean, they open schools, universities, they support you in everything, and they lead you, and there's light, and there's corridor to learn, Before, it wasn't easy as well. It wasn't easy. Even to reach the school, you cannot, yeah.
Indeed, yes. I grew up in Ireland, so we all got the story of, in my day, I walked 10 miles to school in the rain and in the winter. And but even in 50 years' time, people will be saying, in my day. Yeah. So in my day, my iPad didn't work too well. So that's what the new one will be. But also, you talk about the youth of today that really have a lot more of a complex and more challenging life, really, to live in many ways. And this also in your autobiography, talking about the challenges they have now, the fact that, it's the survival of the planet. There's a lot of bigger issues that the youth of today have to really grasp. Talk to me a little bit about that, how maybe you might have had a simpler life in one way, but would you like to be reliving that life in this time and date if you were to go back 50 years?
Well, I wish to all the new generation to take things serious, to take things and to take it as a challenge as well. Life is not easy. Life is not easy. The road, it has a lot of turbulence, a lot of turbulence, a lot of, it is not easy, rough road, but we have to try to smooth it, to do something, but this need work. You cannot sit at home and you think you are going to be successful and to participate in success of your country. You have to work hard. You have to think positive. You have to never ever, think negative. Never sit with anybody who is negative. Always you have to be positive, even in trouble, even in life, which is really difficult for you. But you have to think positive. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tomorrow, after tomorrow, if I cannot do it now. And my advice, always sit with the people who talk positive, smile, happy people. Any person, even if anyone of my family is negative, I will not sit with that person. Never. I know a friend of mine, we live together and we work together now, always he's negative. But I don't want to mention who.
But he knows if he's got to come and see you, he's got to have a little lighter, brighter demeanor, or else he'll get a different audience. But, you talk about, your family and your grandchildren bring that great energy. What would they come to you for? Because I can see you bring that great energy to them too. What advice would you give them, in terms of how to live their life?
Is it, you mean the little guys or the big?
Who listens best?
My advice, always I advise them. Sometimes I don't want to give up of advising them, but sometimes you cannot. They are becoming young men,
of course.
And you want to help them. Sometimes they don't want to help themselves. I can't talk about my grandchildren, some of my children. I'm trying, even they don't want money, but they don't want to cooperate or listen even. But trying to push them hard, trying to energize them, and hopefully they will listen sometime soon. Otherwise, they will be out.
But we've all been in that situation. We've all been in the
Maybe
time.
you, not me.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, reading back that autobiography, there were a few times you didn't listen either. So
Yeah.
I think when we look back on the sort of strong hand your mother had in your life too, she had to advise you a little bit every now and then, particularly when you didn't want to listen. How quickly he forgets, huh?
Yeah.
Now listen, I know you're a man of strong faith, and it definitely has formed a lot in terms of your outlook on life. Talk to us about another book that you had commissioned, Final Mission. A book that you really wanted to look at the similarities in religion and how we all need to just look at what we more have in common than what we have different. And do you think that's what people really need to be doing more of?
A lot of people, whether they are Christian or Jewish or Muslim, they don't know what is the relation between these religions. And I thought, it is very important people can read this book, can understand this book, what is the relation between especially the three religions, because the three religions, this is what we recognize as Muslims, And that's why I wrote this book, and I put the outline in it to introduce they are, in the end of the day, they are reaching to one point, whether it is Moses, Jesus Christ, and Prophet Muhammad. All of them related to each other and completing the journey of each other.
And do you think sometimes that perhaps people focus too much on what makes us different?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Before, I don't think now they differentiate, except the people who, with the vision, with the limitation, they don't understand that I am Christian, I am Jewish, or I am a Muslim. No. We have to work one hand. We should not differentiate whether you are black, white, yellow, I don't know what, Caucasian, etc., Christian. No, we are one person. I will give you an example, very small example. United Arab Emirates, if you know, I mean, there is over 200 nationality here with hundreds of religions. We don't know who is Christian, who is Jewish, who is Muslim, and we don't want to know. And we are a big family. We are under umbrella, and we love each other. We work together. I mean, that's fantastic. This is we want people to live. We don't people live. I mean, like I don't want to mention. I mean, to pinpoint to any country. This is Christian. This is I don't know what Muslim. That's completely unacceptable. We have to live one family.
And again, I mean, I think we have to look around the world and hope that more people will, take that attitude. And it's good that you're encouraged that countries are.
Absolutely.
Now, we don't often get him up on the stage here, so we do have time for some questions, and I'm going to make sure we do. And I don't want to just leave them till the end, because then everybody will be rushing to the mic.
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله.
أنا أحمد وقاص العلقي. كان عندي سؤالين لو تسمح.
تفضل.
السؤال الأول ما هو
أبوي بعد ثمك على الميكروفون شوية. هي.
ما هو معنى السعادة كbusinessman? So as a businessman, what does happiness mean for you? And the second question is, أنت قلت إن في حياتك الأولية ما كان عندكم الخير اللي كان عندكم أول أو كان لا يشابه اللي عندك الحين. فأنت في مكانك هذا وين بتختار إنك تكون؟ شكرا.
What does happiness mean to you, apart from going to work?
Happiness is success. If you have something in your mind, something you want to do it and you achieve it, this is a success. Success also when you do something and you come to your home and your family is happy and you are happy with them. But first of all, if you are working something and you are delivering, not only, I mean, you should be honest to yourself. You should be honest that you work hard, but you have a target, and that target, you achieve it. If you achieve it, you feel. If you don't achieve it, maybe you will not be happy that day, but try again and again and again, then you can achieve it, and that is the happiness. What is the second one?
It was in Arabic. You have to forgive me.
شو
So,
عن الحياة الأول؟ لا, definitely I'm looking forward. I'm not looking back. I will never look back. I mean, we have to look forward, success, see our country where 50 years ago and where we are now. We are in the jewel of the world. We are in the best country and the most safest place in the world. Definitely I look forward. I'm more happy now. Definitely I was happier there before when I was living with my parents. I love them, they love me. But life, the departure, and I departed the other way.
it must also give you so much joy to look around Dubai and to look at it over the years, because every year the landscape changed. And again, you were very much part of that.
True.
So from, as I said, in the beginning, reading, your autobiography particularly, there's almost the history of the country in there, which is the history of Dubai.
True.
It's so lovely. So that's got to be a great sense of pride to you, to just look out and go, I did some of this.
True. That's very true. I mean, I wasn't thinking I will do what I have done. I mean, thought of my life, I was working hard. When I started my construction company, I worked 24 hours. I got twice perforated ulcer because I can't sleep. I was worried I was myself, concreting the slabs. I put vibrator on the concrete in the day one. I was first, project I did is 60,000 dirham, which is peanuts now. And I was working, but, there is, you have to work hard. You have to work. Definitely, I mean, I was twice perforated ulcer because of worries. Worry all the time. Until now, I worry. Not, I mean, I wish I can, get rid of it. But if you are not worrier or worry about these things, you cannot achieve what you want. And there is always, tax. There is tax in life. Definitely, I mean, you can be healthy 100%. You can go to gym. Make muscles, but you cannot deliver in business. No, do everything. You have to divide your time. Divide your time, work, go to the gym, but not too much muscles. Because of too much muscle, you lose hair a lot.
So it's about that balance, and I have a feeling you've managed to work out the worry, because there has to be a time for it. If you're not worrying, I think you wouldn't be happy. You need to have that little edge
Definitely.
all the time.
Definitely.
If it's running too smooth, I could think he's probably not happy if it's running too smooth. He's got to be thinking there's something else that
This is my habit.
yeah,
yes,
that
very
keeps you
bad,
going.
yes,
I can just see that. Now, let's just have a look at your books too, and the life lessons. I have the little book somewhere. It's a lovely little book, the life lessons, inspirational quotes. Some very, very lovely quotes there, and it also gave me a few minutes of reflection actually reading them. And tell me just a little bit about the thought process that went into that. And they must be also little quotes that you would sit back and think about every now and then.
This is what I call it. I thought, to put as a brief guideline to help people, to assist people, to see example, and also the trial and error. This is the thing, really. It is very simple book, written in English and Arabic. Everybody can read it, and everybody, I promise you, everybody can understand the content of that book. I shorten it from my autobiography, from my thought, from my experience, and I think this book will help a lot of people and you can read it comfortably. I know some people, they don't like reading. I have a daughter in my house, she refused to read at all. And I asked her to read, she rejects, But, it is very simple to read and very fruitful and very useful.
Yeah, and it is. It's, as you say, it's short. And you can get somebody to read it to you. That's the other thing. It's nice.
True.
It's not going to be any trouble to ask somebody to read it if you don't want to read it yourself, because it's very short. Cute.
أبو راشد أنا أعرف أن
مرحبا يا دكتورة.
الشيخ راشد بن سعيد يشكل مساحة كبيرة من ذاكرتك ومن حياتك.
الله يرحمه.
يمكن كثير هني من الجيل الجديد ما يعرف الشيخ راشد، كيف تصفه وكيف أثر عليك وشو من الدروس يعني اللي فعلا هي ثابتة في ذاكرتك من الشيخ راشد بن سعيد الله يرحمه باني دبي.
Yesterday I went to, we call it Al-Furda, where Sheikh Rashid used to sit there and his majlis. I went there to talk about business and improvement of support of the government. And when I saw where Sheikh Rashid used to his office called Al-Furda, which is the Dewan, the court, where His Highness used to sit there. I remember the steps, which every day I come twice to see him there, and I run over the steps going up, And I look at it. To be honest to you, I swear to God, I was going to cry. I remember they told me, go, this is all open, you can see. I said, no, I don't want to see it, because if I see it, I will be miserable, to remember Sheikh Rashid, rahmatullah alayhi. Sheikh Rashid was a school. I remember when I was a boy, my father was forcing me, he can see me, I like to work. He can see me, my father, that I can do something. He said, Khalaf, you have to meet Sheikh Rashid. I said, no, I don't want to go to see Sheikh Rashid. I mean, he is the ruler and I am a boy. He said, no. He grabbed me, my hand, and he took me there. We enter, there is about 100 men sitting around and everybody looking at you. I walk, I'm not comfortable. I felt myself, not happy at all, shaking, going, say hello to Sheikh Rashid. Then I sit near to my father. My father sat there next to Sheikh Rashid, or, a little bit. And then, same day I said, I'm not going. Don't force me. No, he said, no, you will go. I said, no, I cannot go because I'm not enjoying everybody looking at me. And I am a boy, I cannot see all these adults, and etc. And later, he said, no, you must. Let me explain you something. Imagine that my father, he's not graduating from MIT or Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge. No, he knows about poem. He knows Quran. He knows, riding camels, this is what he knows. He's not, he said, when you enter there to the majlis, don't look to anybody, just look to the eyes of Sheikh Rashid and think that's the only one he's sitting in Sheikh Rashid, nobody else. I said to him, I cannot, because everybody looking at you. And the majlis is narrow as well. It is not like this. He said, try. I tried once, twice, then I felt more comfortable. More comfortable. Then I become, first I sit there, later I become closer. I push myself. I push, to him. Later I felt myself, my God, this is heaven. To see Sheikh Rashid and to learn from him and to listen from him better than any school on earth. Definitely, I can say, I don't want to talk a lot, but I learned a lot of the discipline Sheikh Rashid. I think he born before his time. He born before his time, definitely. He has a vision, thinking of years and years and years, and he doesn't differentiate between this person or that person, whether you have the money or you are zero in your pocket. Always he looked to people who is active, energetic, he like work. He doesn't like people who sleep a lot. He doesn't like people who sleep a lot. He like people to work and to deliver. Later I become closer and I was talking with them. I enjoyed. I said to my father, I said, thank you, sir. Now I learn a lot. I learn of the discipline. I learn how you are supposed to do. I learn life. Life is not a joke, sleep and party. Life to work. Sheikh Rashid, he used to work, I think, at least 20 hours a day. He doesn't sleep. Later I become addict. Addict to see this man, to learn from him. I used to go to him at 6 o'clock to have coffee with him. And around 7 I go to the office. And by 9 I go to him to Al-Farda. And then I go, to see the my jobs in the site, construction site. And by 12, I am also there. By 11:30, half an hour to sit with him, to listen to him, to learn from him what he's doing, this man. At 12 o'clock, before 12, he leaves for lunch. In the evening, I go to his place where Villa Jumeirah, Doctora. Villa Jumeirah. And there, a few of the people next to him, and he start talking, Rashid. No, sorry, he's listening, not talking. Listening to all the conversation, and later, whether he will ask question, and if he has something to do, nobody knows what he's planning to do. He throw it. He throw the idea, and he will listen like this. Everybody talking, this here, there, etc., etc. Then he will take his best, put it here, and he will leave. It means he pick up something, but he will not tell you. He will not tell you what is to pick up, and he will not tell you what is his plan. Later, in the future, we don't know. Maybe after a year, 2 years, after implementation or start, then he will. He is genius. I learn a lot, especially he is wise man, leader, generous. He loves his people. Every day, maybe at 6:30 or before 7 in the morning, he turned Dubai to see if anybody has something happening, to assist, to help. He sit with the people of Dubai, talking conversation, like he is sitting with one on his level. Wow. He doesn't look at you down. He's looking to you on his level. He's a school. I cannot explain more.
It's so lovely.
Thank you, Dr. Rafia.
And
Thank you.
And it sounds like there's many of those great traits that you picked up in your leadership style.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Devesh Khatri, and I'm born and raised in Dubai. From when I was young, you and your family inspired me to join my father in his business. And my question was, how do you know when your family members or children are ready to take over responsibility or a part in play a vital?
Can you repeat it again, please?
How do you know if your children or your family members are ready to take over responsibility in the business? Or how do you judge a person if he is able to take over a part of the business?
When were you ready to hand it over? When did you look at, your family and go, okay, I'm walking away a little bit?
I don't think his question is wise. I will not hand over to them. Thank you. I will continue taking care of everything.
But
They
I
are
also think you
ready,
joke.
but I am not ready. I have to lead. Thank you very much, sir.
Madam, please.
Thank you.
That closes our questions out. Thank you so much. I want to, before we just close out, I want that final great word of inspiration from you. You have a big empire. You have so much, of this city that's of credit to you. We hear from companies around the world saying they can't get the staff, they can't keep the staff. Talk to us just a closing word in terms of, keeping good people around you, you as a leader inspiring the people around you, and making sure that we all come together to, build a successful business and build successful lives for our families and those who we love.
Well, no, you spoke on my behalf. I mean, you are asking me, and she speaks more than I do. Mansour. Well, life, the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there, and we are, I can say, in the starting point. If we want to succeed and if we want to win, we have to look forward. The road has been the path for us. It is easy road, provided we know how to plan things, we know how to study it. It becomes easy. Otherwise, it is very complicated. Therefore, I encourage every one of us, everyone, including me, you, everybody, to take things serious. If you don't take things serious, and you will never ever succeed. Don't be reluctant. Don't be reluctant. You have to think. Maybe you will fail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but doesn't matter. Don't give up. Continue and blame me. Nahna, thanks God, we are in United Arab Emirates. We have the base. We have the support. And we are together, working together here, us and our government. This is why we achieved the success. Thank you very much.
And thank you.